first topic is Israel versus Hamas. Hamas helps to promote greater Israel theory over two-state solution. Personally, I prefer two-state solution over greater Israel theory. How does Hamas help promote greater Israel theory? Well, if these people are given independence, if they're recognized as a state, they will attack us much worse. It will be a full-blown war. They'll be able to get access to everything they want. They'll get their own electricity, they'll get their own water supply, they'll get their own airport, they'll get their own seaport or naval port, right? So Israelis do not want to give that to the Palestinians, because then the threat to Israel will be much, much greater. And I think they want to stop that. They have propped up Hamas to divide and conquer Palestinians. They've propped up Hamas to paint these people as radicals, which, to be fair, they are radicals. It's not like Palestinians are like good guys and we just want peace, we just want our homeland back. They want to murder Jews. That's true. But that's what is happening here. I'm not a fan of either side. And this weird thing I found was Israelis giving collective punishment to Palestinians or to Gaza just for the actions of Hamas. True, if they don't support Hamas, they're dead. That's true about anyone in Gaza. Even if they're like, we don't want war, we just want peace. If they don't support Hamas, they're dead. That's reality. Think of Gazans as French or Russian peasants. Think of Israel as French and Russian nobility. And think of Hamas as Jacobins or Bolsheviks. To get rid of something bad, that is Israel, Gazans have replaced them with something worse, like radicals, like Jacobins or Bolsheviks during the French and Russian Revolution. That's what has happened with Hamas. Other modern examples are the Iranian Revolution of 1979, right? To get rid of Shah, who was bad, they supported and propped up something worse. Iranians supported and propped up something worse. The Ayatollahs, the theocratic regime which is there right now. And Gaza has done the same thing. Like I said, think of Gaza or Gazans as French and Russian peasants. Think of Israel as French or Russian nobility. And think of Hamas as Jacobins or the Bolsheviks. We are in a fog of war. Don't believe everything you will see on social media. For example, this recent attack on a hospital in Gaza. The hospital is called Al Ahli Arab Hospital. Initially, everyone believed it was from IDF, Israeli Defense Force. But it turns out to be a misfired rocket from Hamas. And how did we get that revelation? Well, Al Jazeera accidentally showed a rocket being fired from, I think it was Hamas or some other, I think Palestinian organization. I'll correct this one. I don't think it was from Hamas. It was from some other Palestinian organization, terrorist or militia organization. And they fired that rocket and it was misfired and it hit something at around 8:59 p.m. or something like that, a.m. or p.m. something like that. And at the same time that hospital was hit. Later on, it turned out that hospital wasn't even hit. It was a parking lot of the hospital, and there weren't 500 people dead. There's something like 50 dead. Of course, that's still a tragedy. But we went from Israel hitting a hospital to a misfired rocket hitting a parking lot of the hospital. See, that's misinformation. From Israel hitting a hospital to a misfired rocket landing in a parking lot of a hospital. That's called fog of war. There's a lot of propaganda, there's a lot of misinformation on every platform, on every type of media. So take everything with a grain of salt. What we are about to see is Israeli ground invasion of Gaza. There's no way Israel can wipe out Hamas without significant civilian casualties in Gaza. Many Arab states are warning Israel to not do this. Iran and Hezbollah are threatening retaliation. The Hamas attack on Israel caused something like 1,000 casualties, 1,300 casualties. Retaliation from Israel has already caused 4,000 Gazan casualties or Hamas casualties. I don't think they're all Hamas, but I don't know. Like I said, if they don't support Hamas, they're dead. If Gaza does not support Hamas, they're dead. They'll be called all sorts of names like traitors and Jewish agents or whatnot, and they'll be killed. So anyway, 1,000 Israelis dead and 4,000 Gazans dead. Like I said, we'll see a lot of news of horrible tragedies coming out of Gaza that may or may not be true. While Western countries are standing firmly behind Israel, Russia and China seem to be the only adults in the room so far. They are cooperating to de-escalate tensions in West Asia to avoid a major regional war. I don't think this will escalate into a major war between countries. I don't know what Hezbollah will do, although they have threatened to open a second front in northern Israel. That is likely. I don't know what Turkey will do. Chance of Turkey in getting involved are really low. I don't think Iran will get involved unless it is forced to by United States. Because I don't know why. What's wrong with Biden administration? Maybe because they've printed too much money and their economy is going down. Maybe they know they are in decline and they want to preserve their hegemony at all cost. But it seems to me that Biden administration is bent on setting fire to the heartland, Europe, Asia, and Africa. That's what it seems like to me. Maybe because United States is in decline and they don't want a competitor to rise up and replace them completely. Maybe they are thinking if the whole world is at war, then that means all economies will go down and US will be able to somehow preserve their hegemony. Maybe they don't want blowback from their own people over all the inflated currency or inflation caused by the lockdowns and all the money printing that happened. That's what United States appears to be doing. I think Saudis are trying to use this situation to get better terms in the peace deal between Saudi Arabia and Israel. There are rumors that the peace deal is still happening, but it is happening under the radar, behind the scenes. I think this peace deal is actually proceeding. I think that's what is happening. But publicly they are like, we'll pause this deal, we'll cancel this deal. But behind the scenes, I think that deal is still going on. I think they're just trying to extract better terms from United States and Israel. Here's the truth about Palestinians or other Arab countries don't want to take them in as refugees. Egyptians don't want them, Jordanians don't want them. In fact, I think Jordan took in many Palestinians as refugees, something like 20,000 or so, and they tried or succeeded in assassinating King of Jordan. I don't know if they succeeded in that, but they definitely tried. Maybe they succeeded. And at that event, it's known as Black September. But whether they tried or actually succeeded, that's the reason why other Arab nations don't want to take in Palestinian refugees. And Jordan was already part of Palestine. There are many countries that are propped up and artificially created by Europeans in the Middle East or the Arab world. If you look at the map of the Ottoman Empire and see all the provinces, or I don't know what they're called. If you see that, many of the countries didn't even exist properly. They were artificially created after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. Even there was no such thing as Israel, of course, there was no such thing. But there was also no such thing as Palestine in the Ottoman Empire. So if we are going to look at the map of 1940s, because that's when Israelis came in and occupied Palestine, we also have to look at the map of 1910s and late 19th century, of the map of Ottoman Empire at its peak. There was no such thing as Palestine, and there was no such thing as Israel. Israelis or Jewish people were there for like 2000 years ago. 2000 years ago, United States did not exist as a country, or as a political institution, or as a civilization. It just didn't exist, the modern version. Same goes for Canada, Australia. See, that's why this whole thing is a mess. That's why this whole Israel Palestine, who has the right, who has the moral authority to occupy that space, Israelis or Palestinians? That's why it gets confusing, because you can cherry pick and create your own narrative. There has to be a political and diplomatic solution to all this, and followed by some kind of de-radicalization program for Palestinians and also for Israelis. But Israel is a Jewish ethno-state. It has to be turned into a liberal democracy. That's what it has to turn into. For it will be easier to de-radicalize Israel. It will be much harder to de-radicalize Palestine. See, and like I said, you can cherry pick and make your own argument, pro-Israel, pro-Palestine. That's why I support two-state solution based on 1967 borders. Many people support that. And I support that as well. Based on 1967 borders. That's for this topic.